Please stay tuned for a brief message from Jimmy Akin.
As Christmas approaches, we're reflecting on 20 years of StarQuest Media, thousands of episodes, and hundreds of thousands of listeners. As we look forward to our 20th anniversary in 2026, we want to launch new shows and reach new hearts. That future depends on our patrons. Your monthly gift is matched up to $15,000, and the first 400 patrons to join or increase by $10 will receive a signed Mysterious World sticker. Visit sqpn.com/give to become a patron today. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. Joining me today on the panel are Father Joseph Sund. Hey, Father.
Good to be with you.
And Tom Grelinger. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Dom.
Before we get started, I want to make folks aware that after this episode comes out, you won't see us, or hear us, really, for a couple weeks. I am not going to be working on Christmas or New Year's Day, so you will not be getting new episodes on Christmas and New Year's Day. The episodes drop on Thursdays, and those Thursdays are going to be holidays in the next few weeks. So we'll be back in January. There's nothing going on in tech world anyway. You go play with your new tech toys that Santa left under the tree for you, and then maybe we'll talk about our new tech toys that we got under the tree when we come back. But in the meantime, we do have more of our gift guide. But before we get started with that, Father, you had something you wanted to tell us about, a fun experience you had.
I had our SQPN world colliding with IRL world in real life. So I was on my way to a conference in another
undisclosed location
in another Midwest city. I'll just put it there. And on my way there, I realized that my former colleague in this podcast that for 4 years together, Victor Lambs, we were podcast partners here for 4 years. I shot him a message to tell him that I was in his neighborhood at this event, and it just so happened that his wife was volunteering for hospitality as one of the cooks at the event.
That is awesome.
And so Victor and I got to meet up and chat a little bit, and it was really neat for me, and just little personal bit for it to make things. When I started this podcast, it was at a time that I hadn't really made the connection of my former work life. I was a computer science major, all of that before entering seminary, and integrating that into my life of faith. And this past almost 5 years has really aided me in doing that, and I've been able to journey with all of you, our listeners, and Victor is part of that, and so it was really great to be able to meet him in real life. So
it's awesome. Yeah, that's what reminds me. Like over the past summer, we went on a pilgrimage to Italy with the listeners for SQPN, and I got to hang out with Thomas Sanaro and his wife. Thomas is also one of the panelists on the show, and which was great. I'd met Thomas before at a previous event years ago, like a decade ago, but it was great to see him again. And I got to be in the same room as Jimmy Akin for the first time ever this past summer. Jimmy and I have podcasted for more than a decade together, and we'd never been in the same room until this past summer. So that was a lot of fun. It really, as great as podcasting, the online world is, it can't beat the incarnational nature of being able to sit down with a friend over a meal, over a drink, or just hanging out and talking. And I'm glad you got a chance to do that with Victor.
I did apologize to his wife. We figured with the number of episodes we recorded together that I may have caused Victor to spend a large amount of money on technology through the 4 years. And so,
sure.
His wife told me that I was giving myself too much credit. that he would have bought that stuff without me.
Probably, yes. And he probably gave you the same in return,
he did.
So
it's
a wash. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of getting people to buy stuff, this is the last week of our annual Christmas gift guides, where we each come up with some gift ideas, some tech-related gift ideas for the person in your life. And I know it's only a week till Christmas. It's really tough to get under the deadline. But I say this every year. Remember, Jesus got gifts on the Epiphany. So you have till January 6th to get these gifts to someone, if you can't get it in time for Christmas. So, and maybe get some good post-Christmas sales. So with that, Father, why don't you go first and give us your Christmas gift ideas? Did you have a theme for your ideas, or is it just more general?
My theme is ADD. No.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, go right ahead.
So my first item, I was noticing that my sleep was struggling, maybe because my room was a little too dry. And I've always had the struggle with humidifiers, either being too little or way too much. So I found the Govee Smart Humidifier. I got it as a Black Friday deal, so it's about double the price that I paid for it now, but still a good price, around $70. Has a smart app. You're able to set the exact percentage, and I have a little what's those little things that measure humidity with a hygrometer. I have a separate one from the one that's built in that I have on the other side of the room, and it's spot on. And so nice. I've been very impressed. I've been able to, I like to sleep right around 55% humidity, and it keeps it right there. So
very nice. I need the opposite. I need a smart dehumidifier, or as I like to call it, water vaporator.
That's a little more difficult because the smart has to know when to empty the bucket.
If I could get one that could empty the bucket, I know that a lot of them come with hoses now. We have a problem in my house where my daughter's bedroom is, even in the winter, is way too humid. I don't know, but the way they built these houses, it's a post World War II tract house. So they just threw these up so fast. And so there's issues with that in their room specifically. And so, yeah, if I could get one that emptied itself, that I would pay for. Like a little robot one, that would be awesome. But I do call it a water vaporator, like Luke had on Tatooine, on the North Ridge. I need a droid that speaks binary. Anyway, what's your next
So my next gift idea is a little bit on the cheaper side. This could even be a stocking stuffer. We're talking $9 here, so this is great. And it's just a simple coiled USB-C cord, which I caught this as a recommendation on Amazon one day, and I did not realize how much I needed it in my car.
Yes.
And so this is specifically, I use it for car use. And it's just so nice. So it's coiled like a telephone cord, and stops you from having a lot more mess than you need to have. So
if you're under the age of about 25 or 30, go look it up online, what a telephone cord is.
Telephone headset cord is what you want to look for.
Yes. I think these are great in the car. I love because especially if you have more than one, because I've got my wife, I got the kids in the back, and everyone wants to have stuff plugged in, and you get these long 6-foot cables all over the place in the car. Having the coil keeps everything nice and neat and out of the way, especially when they're not plugged into stuff.
This is Cable Creation is the brand, which it took a big leap of faith for me to jump away from Anchor on a cable. But I took that leap. I found that both the power and the data of it have been really good. My car has fast charge USB-C in it, and it works like it should.
Excellent. All right. So what do you get next?
Well, since I cheated on Anchor, we're going to go back to Anchor again. I got this a couple years ago and recommended it to my pastor. And he has now become an Anchor convert. I told him that he's bought stock in Anchor. Every desk he has and every corner he has more Anchor products than me now. It's crazy. But this is the Anchor MagSafe charger stand. I use it on my desk. And this particular one, I just like the level it keeps the phone at. It's right at that level that's sitting right even with the bottom of your monitor. And
yes, it is wonderful.
Dom's holding it up.
It's in front of the camera.
If you have earpods, it works with the earpods as well. I do not.
On the base, you can put your earpod case.
I do not have that, but I could charge them if I had it. I've never used that feature of it. Also, nice thing is if you set your phone horizontal, if you have the iPhone, it can go into that nice little widget mode.
Nightstand mode. Yeah.
Yeah, nightstand or widget, yeah.
The nice thing about it I like is that the cable is not integrated into it. You can replace the cable if you had to. And if you need a longer cable or you want a shorter cable, but it's just a standard USB-C cable. And I really like that because I've had stands where the cable was like built in and then something goes wrong with the cable and you got to throw the whole thing away. I like the fact that you can replace the cable.
Word of warning. This one does not come with your power brick. So you want to make sure to be using, I think it's at least like a 20-watt brick that you want to be using to make sure it has enough oomph.
Right.
The technical term.
It does. Yeah, it does 15-watt fast charging. But if you're going to charge your phone and your AirPods, you want to have a little more power so that it's covering both. So you're getting the max out of both. Yeah, good point. That's a good point. Or I think I've got it plugged into a USB hub or something. So it gets plenty of power from that. Good. And that's about $45 on
about
Amazon.
$45.
Yep. All right. What else
next
you got?
one is for the math nerd in your life or the person who loves spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. So, and I did not realize I needed this until I found it. And I found it at one of those, we have these little like Amazon return, stores you can go to. And I found this little guy. I got it for $2. It's $19 on Amazon, but this is a, wireless keypad that has both calculator and keypad mode. But the great thing is when you go into the calculator mode and it will work like your old calculator with the LCD on it, there's a button that says send at the top. So once I'm done adding up all my numbers, I don't have to switch it back to keypad mode. I just hit send and I'm clicked into my spreadsheet and it's going to type my total from that calculation
into the
highlighted cell, and it's beautiful.
So just so folks are clear, what it is that it looks like a desktop calculator. It's got the screen for where you show the total and all that sort of stuff, but it also will connect via Bluetooth to your computer. So if you don't have a keyboard with an extended like 10 key on the side, say you have a laptop or whatever, this will function as that 10 key, because anyone who has to enter lots of numbers into spreadsheets and stuff knows how much better it is to have a 10 key extended keyboard or whatever that is. I love the idea that it can just be a plain old calculator when because sometimes you just need to add up some numbers and I don't have to launch an app to do it or,
the
that
Windows
sort of
calculator is so cumbersome.
Yeah.
And it also has, this is a must for me on keypads and it's hard to find it. The 00 key. I'm sorry, I don't want to hit 0 more than I need to. It saves me so much time.
See, my dad would say that you'd be a heretic. He was an accountant, CPA, so, and it was like he'd never use the 00. And I'm like, oh, it's there. But when I started learning how to do data entry and using the 10 key, it was like, if I can remember, it's there.
So, Father, it has a key. I'm looking at the listing on Amazon. It has a key labeled 2.4G, 2.4 gigahertz.
No, that's going to be the USB dongle that it comes with. So if your computer doesn't have Bluetooth, say you're using a desktop that you don't have Bluetooth on, it's going to work like your regular keyboard dongle.
Right. I forgot that there are Windows computers that don't have Bluetooth.
Yes.
Sorry.
They might be and they might be Linux computers too.
Right. Or Chromebook or what? Yeah. Oh, Linux. Yeah. Chromebook will have Bluetooth, but yeah, Linux computers might not have.
Depending on what the
point.
Computer you pulled out of the recycle pile and installed Linux on it had.
Exactly. Oh, good. Actually, that's really nice that it comes with a dongle, and just in case you need to bypass that. It seems like they've thought of everything there. That's really nice. All right. And you have one final one for us?
I gave you some cheap ones, so we're going to go way up to the top of the roller coaster here. So this one's over $500. It's at $530. This goes back to another episode you guys had a while back of coffee. And this is I'm going to mispronounce this, DeLonghi True Brew Drip Coffee Maker. It has a built-in grinder, and it's able to do single serves at 8 ounce, 10 ounce, 12 ounce, 16 ounces, or a full carafe. We have 3 priests in our rectory, and we last year, each of us put in a sizable amount apiece, and this was our Christmas gift to one another. And so we have enjoyed this thoroughly. It lasted a year, so that's a good review. It's lasted a year of a lot of use.
A lot of coffee gets drunk in rectors. I know that for experience.
And we also host a lot. And so this has been, and it just makes such a good cup of coffee. So
I'm looking at the pictures, and in one picture it shows kind of like the cup is elevated a bit, like on a platform. Is that automatic?
There is a little stand that you can kick out for smaller cups to stop splash. I never use it.
Yeah. But it's a nice, thoughtful feature. I like that. Like they've thought through that. That idea that because if the coffee is falling from a distance, it might splatter.
Now it's going to dispose of the beans in this little canister inside, and so there's some maintenance that you have to. For us, it's about every 2 days we have to be cleaning it out and doing that.
Okay.
But if you're using a regular drip coffee maker, you're doing that every day. So.
Right. Every time you make a pot of coffee. And just throw the grounds in your garden. It helps the plants grow. Nice. Very nice. I like it. It's not cheap, but if you got a coffee lover in your life and you got a little extra love you want to show them and a little extra money in your budget, that looks like a good choice.
Or maybe you could buy each other a Christmas gift and it'd be half price.
That's right. Yes, honey, what I'm buying you is my morning pleasantness. That's my gift to you, is me being more pleasant in the morning. Why not? Let's do it like that. All right. Very good, Father. Thank you for your gift list. Tom, why don't you give us your gift list? If you got a theme, tell us what it is, and then you can tell us what's on your list.
Sure, Dom. My theme is streaming hardware. So things like streaming sticks, streaming players. Figured that was and a lot of people have forgotten about these because a lot of times you buy one, it works for years on end, and then it comes time to replace.
Or they get a smart TV.
Or you get a smart TV and the smart TV, you hate it because of the privacy invading features. Yes. Like it's capturing what's on your screen to sell you advertising. As I've heard today, actually, Texas was suing over that. So my first pick is one that's a little bit more closer to home, even though I am an Apple TV. I got 3 Apple TVs and my daughter has one. My first pick is the Roku Streaming Stick 4K. And I still own 2 older models. They're not my first go-to, but they're attached to some of the TVs. And I have really enjoyed them. I take the streaming stick on vacation, and I credit Roku for keeping them updated. I was surprised how old they were, and they went and added AirPlay support. So, and I would foresee that if Apple doesn't release a new streaming stick at some point, I could see buying another one if this one decides to go off to streaming land. I like that I can control it with the Roku app on my phone. Sort of like with an iPhone, you can control the Apple TV. Roku sells 3 streaming sticks, 2 that are less expensive than this one. This one sells for regularly priced at $49.99. I saw it recently discounted $20 to $29.99. At that point, it's the same price as the next one down, or the next one that's less featured,
right?
And is like within $10 of the lowest one.
If
so
you're gonna buy
at that point, it's just
stick,
like
it's
like you might as well do this. And then the next one up is a streaming box that's like $40 or $50 more. So.
Right.
To me, it's a very reasonably priced one. The cool thing is it's 4K, supports Dolby Vision and the other HDR high dynamic range standards. It supports both Wi-Fi 5 on both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Supports advanced like DTS and Dolby Audio. It does have voice searching. And I've used the feature to play audio through my phone with the app. So then I can cast that audio to Bluetooth headphones or speakers.
That's nice.
Right.
So that has been very nice because most of those small little TVs and even the big TVs, the audio goes out the back. And so this gives you the opportunity to cast it to like a Bluetooth speaker. And it gives me much better audio.
I'm sorry. It keeps the audio in sync with the TV pretty good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a trick.
Yes.
It's impressive.
I found with the Roku, the AirPlay on it is one of the best I've seen of devices. I would even dare to say that it's better than Apple TV's AirPlay. I've added this to a lot of teachers' TVs in classrooms that have old TVs and not smart boards, and they want to cast from their iPad, and it works. One of the things also with this is if you download the Roku app and you have your wireless headphones on connected to your phone, you can sync the audio through your phone to your headphones with the TV, so you can have a nice private listening session and not keep the rest of your house up.
One of the things it doesn't do, though, I see, is it doesn't do Ethernet. So if that's, it's Wi-Fi only. So just keep that in
most
mind.
most of my picks are Wi-Fi only. I think only one of my picks is Ethernet, and that's the highest priced option.
I think it's the Ultra,
which I was going to get
that has the Ethernet.
Yeah, the next level up in the Roku.
The next one
that's
up.
$80. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for most people, Wi-Fi is good enough. I mean, the one thing I was looking for as well is whether it supported the new 6 gigahertz band.
Right.
Which is short range, but obviously is less congested. And I was going to mention that on the later picks. So one of the things that I also like is I also have Windows devices, and it also supports Mirrorcast. So it doesn't only support mirroring from Apple devices through AirPlay, it will support Mirrorcast too. So if you want to cast from a Windows laptop or another device that supports Mirrorcast, that's very handy.
Okay.
Some of the cons is I've noticed sometimes that it's a bit more sluggish compared to, it seems to get more sluggish sooner after buying them than maybe some of the other devices like an Apple TV. So that was a complaint that I saw in one review. It is a closed app system, so you cannot sideload. And the article I read said it doesn't even support Twitch natively. So it can be, I mean, you can cast, obviously, to mitigate that. There's no Google Cast support, at least according to PC Magazine.
Okay.
Overall, my overall summary is simple, easy to use. One of the oldest and most experienced streaming device companies out there that is independent of the big boys like Amazon, Apple, and Google. And the devices are frequently on sale. So very, very reasonably priced. It seems like $19.99 is the least expensive device they ever have. They never usually go cheaper than that, but they will usually drop their devices that are like $50 or $60 down to more like $30, which they currently were doing.
Okay. So what else we got?
The next one is Amazon's pick in there, the Fire TV Stick 4K Max. Again, what I did is in comparing the prices of their sticks, I went with, okay, you have these little bumps in price, but you gain a lot in the functionality. So it's regularly priced at $59.99. It also recently was discounted $20 to $39.99. It has a lot of the same features, including HDR, Dolby Atmos support, voice control. It also has started to inherit the new functionality from Amazon around Amazon Echo devices and the Plus, or as Plus, I think Joanne or Pat calls it, the A lady. I call her the A Plus lady. And so it is supposed to provide that advanced LLM AI functionality and providing personalized recommendations for Prime members and faster discovery. One of the things it does, it also supports some cloud gaming, including Xbox Game Pass and Amazon Luna. It supports the Wi-Fi 6, including the 6 gigahertz band. And so Amazon has used a forked version of Android for their streaming devices that they call Fire OS. And they have historically been using that for years. And currently they have one of the lesser expensive devices. They have actually shifted to a version of Linux that they call Vega OS. So because Fire OS was forked from Android, it was possible to sideload apps on there, on these Amazon Fire devices. Not possible with the Vega OS device. This device I'm recommending is a Fire OS device. So another reason that I'm recommending it. Now, disadvantages, because you have Amazon, very large company, other companies like Google who are very large, you sometimes get into disputes as to what they will allow on their device. And so sometimes they won't allow you to load things. And the most recent example, but not current example, is the YouTube TV app. That was blocked for a while. And one of the other disadvantages I saw is that it does have side loading, but that Amazon has started blocking apps that allow for pirated content. That was in an article this past week from Cord Cutters News. So my summary is this is better performance than the comparable Roku. You sometimes run into these conflicts with other companies, and it's probably the best option for anybody who lives and breathes the Amazon Echo universe.
Okay. What do you get next?
My next one is Google's entry. Google only has a single option at this point. Their traditional Chromecast is out of stock. And so the next recommendation is the Google TV Streamer 4K. So this one's a bit more costly, regularly priced at $99.99. It also has seen a recent discount of $20. And just as the Amazon Fire devices like to integrate with the A Plus lady, the Google TV Streamer integrates with the Google Gemini. And what we'll see in one of the later devices is we do have another device that is less expensive that does also, or will soon be integrating with Gemini. But in this case, this one also offers Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. So it's got all the all of these things have Dolby Vision as a minimum for HDR, and they're all 4K devices. This one does not support Wi-Fi 6, which is kind of a disappointment. It does support Ethernet. It also supports Google Smart Home, as does I forgot to mention, as does the Amazon one. It also serves, if you're a smart home aficionado, it also is a Matter Hub and Thread border router. similar to a HomePod Mini or some of the newer Apple TVs. And it also supports user profiles. I think I believe the Amazon one may as well, but the Google one most definitely does. The disadvantages, at $80, that's the least expensive Google streaming device you can get right now. There's not that less expensive option. One thing I noticed is it does not supply an HDMI cable because it's not a stick. It is an actual streaming box. And so my overall summary on this one was that with the release of Gemini 3 as one of the leading LLMs, it does make the streamer more attractive. It also has those capabilities around Matter and Thread, so it can integrate devices like light bulbs and plugs. And as Matter expands to things like camera, they brag that they support over 10,000 apps. And obviously they've had a solid reputation from their Chromecast products as well. I mean, you're getting a very large company that's been doing this for a while. This is not their first trip around the block with a streaming device.
Great. So we seem to be, a little bit more capability with each successive one. So
with each successive one, and then in the order that I did them, the very last one wasn't that way. But the fourth option was one I hadn't really considered, and I thought, well, let me search and see what else is out there. And I was reminded of, because I had heard of this, is the NVIDIA Shield TV Pro. And what this is NVIDIA obviously sells more than just GPUs. They do sell some consumer hardware, including this one. This one is regularly priced at $199.99. So this is not an inexpensive streamer. It's more expensive than even an Apple TV, even the most expensive Apple TV. And there have been discounts of $30 to $169.99. And I would call it the gamer's TV streaming device. It has the ability to stream games from a Windows PC and supports NVIDIA's GeForce Now cloud gaming. So just as the Amazon one supported Luna, this one is supporting NVIDIA's. It is also an Android device, and it also has access to games, exclusive Shield games that take advantage of the GPU, which is probably what's driving a lot of the cost of this one. Like all the other streamers, supports Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, and the apps that you're installing for like HBO Max, Disney Plus, etc., are installed from Google's Play Store. So they play in the Google universe. It does use the Google Assistant. As to whether it uses Gemini, I did not see that. It also supports gigabit Ethernet, and it only supports Wi-Fi 5, which was kind of surprising. It also supports expansion with USB-A ports, so you can build you can install more apps and not have to constantly be reloading an app because you've ran out of storage.
You said it does have Ethernet. Okay,
yes,
I'm thinking that Wi-Fi 5 with gamers, Wi-Fi is not going to be a huge priority for gamers.
If you're going to game with any of the ones that are capable, you need to Ethernet it. It's not going to. Yeah. Cloud gaming really requires the fastest internet connection you can possibly give it. So yeah, you're going to want Ethernet regardless. And I think this one, I saw it said gigabit Ethernet. So that's good.
It was a gigabit Ethernet. So the cons are, it's obviously not your least expensive option. You're talking normally $200, sometimes discounted $20 or $30. It's really designed for people who want to do the game streaming and want a device that can support that. There's limited internal storage, but you have the option to expand. For non-gamers, honestly, I probably would not recommend it. I would say it's probably more for the gaming crowd or people who want to play serious apps or apps that will take advantage of the hardware.
And you have one more?
I have one more, and this was to me even a surprising pick. It's actually last year's Wirecutter pick for a streaming device, and it is an exclusive, from what I can tell, to Walmart. It's the ONN or ON, I'm not sure which, 4K Pro streaming device, and it is very reasonable. The regular price, and it's a box, it's not a stick. The regular price is $49.88. I saw it discounted to $44.73. It is Walmart's particular streaming device brand. It's Wi-Fi 6, has Ethernet, it supports Google Assistant, and it's promising Gemini support. So if Gemini is a key piece of this and you're not wanting to spend the higher price for the Google Streamer device, this may be the best option. Does not sound like it has it yet. So it uses Google TV, the apps from Google. It supports Dolby Vision and Atmos. And as I said, it's reviewed favorably by the Wirecutter. What are the disadvantages? Well, it's probably not as well known. I mean, Google first released a streaming device in 2021 and started updating with several devices in 2023. So it's relatively newer to the market compared to Apple, Amazon, Google, and Roku. Given that Walmart is one of the world's largest retailers, my expectation is it will receive long-term support, but it's still something relatively new. But for the price, I mean, the fact that it comes with Ethernet and Wi-Fi 6, it's built on Google, coming with Gemini support, it appears to be a great deal.
I have the $20 version of this that I have in my travel bag. I pair it with my travel router and plug it into hotel TVs, so I can have what I want. And I'm surprised at how good it is. It uses the Google App Store, so you get all of Google's apps with it.
Mm-hmm. And it has 32 gigs of storage, which is pretty substantial for a for this class of device. So that's pretty good.
I'll give a fun thing about the Walmart On brand. It is on. If you go down the electronic aisle, it's kind of cute what they do with it. So it's Stream On. The headphones are Rock On. And then my favorite is the TV mounts are Hang On.
That's good.
Well,
That's
thank you,
good.
Father, because I was, like I said, I may have heard about this brand, but I really had never done a deep dive into it. And then when I saw how it had been rated by the Wirecutter, I was like, okay, I need to take a look at this.
It's like Walmart's Equate for their electronic devices.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you for providing some real life feedback on that.
Excellent.
I personally don't have the device, but it is an interesting device. And
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Tom, thanks for the gift idea. So, if folks are out there looking to get a streaming device for someone for Christmas, one of these will probably be perfect for them. If they're an Apple person, maybe get them the Apple TV. But Tom and I talked before that, there's rumors of a new Apple TV coming out imminently from Apple. And, do you want to get the old version right before the new one? But frankly, like you said, Tom, Apple TVs, Apple supports them forever, practically. So even if you buy the old one now, it's going to be good for a long time. And they don't change that. They don't add that much to each successive one. They'll update the interfaces, the Wi-Fi or whatnot. But in general, they work pretty much the same. So that's another option if you're in the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the reason why I didn't make my recommended list of 5 items. And because, I still have, just even down in this room, I have a TV and an Apple, the original 4th generation TV Apple TV that's HD only. And it still works. It can get a little sluggish at times too, but I have been surprised that Apple continues to support it even up through iOS 26 or tvOS 26.
Okay. So I'm going to give you my last list of gift ideas. I've done themed lists over the past few weeks, but this is sort of my catch-all category. These are all the ones that didn't fit in the other themes that I offered. And I'm going to start with a product from Ugreen. Ugreen is a company that's kind of been sneaking up on me. They do a lot of similar things to what Anchor does, but they've got some pretty good quality products out there now, and so they're worth looking at. So this particular one is a Ugreen airplane Bluetooth transmitter receiver for AirPods or headphones. So what does that mean? When you're on an airplane, you're watching a movie on the seat back with your seatmate, your spouse or friend you're traveling with, whatever, and you both want to be listening to it on headphones. So if you're both wearing Bluetooth headphones, you can plug this in, or if even just one of you, I mean, you don't have to share it with somebody, but if you're wearing Bluetooth headphones, you plug this into the headphone port of the seatback video, and it transmits the audio to your headphones, or up to 2 headphones. So, and it's got a couple other features as well, but it's it's $18. If you know someone who travels or is going to be traveling, and this seems to be a no-brainer to me. That $18, this is a great stocking stuffer. It's got some features like it can work in a transmit mode. In other words, you plug it into the airplane seat back or the TV or a computer, and it transfers to your headphones. Or it can be in a receiver mode, where you can, say, plug it into your car's auxiliary input and transmit from your phone to the car's audio, in case it doesn't have CarPlay or something.
Since one transmits and one receives, can you get 2 of them to work together?
And create a loop?
No. I mean, I'm thinking one that you could basically run it as a wireless cord between 2 devices.
Oh, I don't know. I've never. That's a good question. Could you set it up to receive from another blue? Yeah, I don't know. That's for $18. You might as well buy
and try it out.
See if it works. Yeah, I mean, they have Amazon has a liberal return policy, so you can give it a try.
So you've used this, Dom?
No, I haven't. This is
okay.
Sort of that's the idea with the gift guides. Is
okay.
So sometimes it's aspirational. This would be on my list if someone listening was someone who gives gifts to me.
Okay, because I had a similar, or I do have a similar device. Because sometimes it's like I want to do that whole thing with the TV is watch TV, not disturb anybody. But if I'm watching something from like a disc, like a Blu-ray, I can't use my Apple TV and do it that way. And so I bought one of these, and what I was starting to notice is that it would, like, I don't know if it was trying to save battery or what it was doing, but sometimes it would clip the audio just a little bit. So somebody the dialogue would stop, or stuff would happen, or the sound would stop briefly, and then all of a sudden it would kick back in and it would kind of clip it. And so it was not this device. So
yeah. And there are other ones, like 12 South makes one called the Airfly, which does something similar, but it's like $50. It's a lot more expensive. So, but the Ugreen one is pretty well reviewed, and for the price, it's a pretty good deal. The next one, Father, you picked some USB cables. I'm going to pick some USB-C cables. Like, look, if you have kids, you need cables all the time. Buy several of these and put them in everybody's stockings. These are your cables. Well, so the ones I'm going to recommend here are the INIU and INIU. I don't know. They can make up these names. INIU USB-C to USB-C cable. It's a 240 watt fast charging cable, and it has a little light on one end to show you when it's passing power, which is awesome. Let me tell you how many times that saved my bacon. Where I'm plugging in a laptop and I'm like, is it charging? The light's on. It's charging. Not one of these USB-C cables were supposed to save us from the nonsense of like the cable insanity, and they didn't, because there are USB-C cables and then there are USB-C cables. There's ones that pass power and data. There's ones that just pass power. There's ones that just pass data and no power. There's ones that pass data and low power. Ugh. Drives me crazy, and they're not always labeled. So I have a solution to that, by the way, in an upcoming pick of the week. So stay tuned for that. But this one, these are 6 foot. It comes in a pack of 2. They're 6 foot long, and they are braided, so they're nice, heavy quality cables. And it's $10 for 2. For that price, you could buy all your kids a set of 2, stick them in stockings. Or you could split it and put one in each. You know what I mean? $5 a head.
They'll lose it in a week,
I'm
though.
Just saying. You label it and you put an air tag on the darn thing. You lose this, you're not charging your phone. That's the rule, right? Dad, can I get another? No cables for you. That's why I bought you your own. I'm a mean dad. So the next one, okay, guys, I'm going to talk to all the guys in the audience because you need to hear this. Every man needs a good flashlight, right? In fact, you need more than one. You need a pen light that you can carry in your pocket. Okay, that's important. Your phone is not a flashlight. Your phone, in a pinch, you could use, but your phone is a phone. You need a small pen light for your pocket, but you're going to need something heavier duty too. And the Vola Saber, with a name like that, the Vola Saber flashlight, 2000 high lumens with, get this, ignition lens. You screw this little lens onto the end of it, and it's like it's a magnifying glass. You turn it on, and you are burning stuff with it. It is for lighting things on fire. Do not let your kids play with this. I say this from experience. My son started lighting paper on the patio, but still started lighting paper on fire as soon as he saw this. You
just feel like a Jedi holding this thing, huh?
No kidding. It's nice. It's got a heft, so it feels nice in your hand. It's rechargeable, so it's got a USB-C port. In a pinch, you can use it to recharge your phone from the. It's not a huge thing, but if you're lost in the woods and you're down to 1% on your phone, you could plug it in and get enough power just to get a call off. But the beam is bright. It'll light up the woods. 2,000 lumens. In fact, they have another one that's even more expensive. It's 3,000 lumens. So it's really. You have
to train with Obi-Wan to use that one, though.
Yes, and they don't come in red. Okay, just to put it that way. We don't have a red kyber crystal in it. It's $35, and which isn't bad for a decent flashlight. I've kind of fallen down the flashlight rabbit hole, lately, and you can spend a lot of money on a good flashlight, over $100. This is $35 for a pretty good flashlight. It's rechargeable batteries inside. It's got plenty of range, and it's got plenty of battery life. I use it when I go scout camping. I don't really use the ignition lens very much. If a lighter or a match is a better option, or even ferrocerium rods or whatever are better options than that. But again, in a pinch, if you got it with you,
I think you've been in that rabbit hole for about 5 years. But
the flashlight rabbit hole, yes. Ask me about my Olight habit. If you're a scout, if you're involved in scouting, knives, flashlights, tents, gear. That's the thing. All right, moving on. I'm going to end with two. Of course, I have to end with two Anchor products. The first one, I think I got a wrong link on that. I think I got the link to the.
Anchor is not a sponsor, but if they would like to be, they can visit sqpn.com/give.
They could pay me back for all the money I've given them. I'm quickly Googling or searching for the product that I wanted to recommend. This has been a pick of the week in the past. It's the Anchor laptop power bank. It's 25,000 milliamp hours. This is the largest battery you can take on a plane. Okay. It's got a retractable USB-C cable on top, and the lanyard is also a USB-C cable, and it's also got ports on the side for USB-C and USB-A. So you can plug in, you can charge three things at once. It's got a massive battery inside it, and it will charge your, as they say on the site, it'll charge your MacBook Pro M3 up to 50% in 33 minutes, which is pretty darn impressive. So it's a fast charge, but it's also contains a lot of power to it. It's not cheap at $120, but if you know anyone who is not even just like someone who flies for a living, but even someone who spends a lot of time out, a student or someone who's on the road a lot or anything like that, someone who camps all weekend and wants to keep their phones charged, that sort of thing. this is a nice product. This is an excellent. It's got a nice digital readout. Tells you how fast it's charging, how fast it's discharging out, and so it's really a nice product.
It's currently, as we're recording this, it's currently on sale.
$87.99
on sale as we're currently recording.
87. Nice. Okay, so act fast, folks. All right, and then finally, you don't always need a giant battery, to take with you everywhere. Sometimes someone in your life, they need a smaller battery because they're always borrowing yours. Tell me how I know this. My wife keeps losing her batteries, so she borrowed my MagSafe battery pack. So she might be getting this for Christmas, which is the Anker Nano Portable Charger. This one's 10,000 milliamp hours. It's a 45-watt charger, which is pretty darn good. It'll charge a laptop. Definitely would charge an iPad. And it also has a retractable cord. I like the new retractable cable thing now. For a while, it was just that you had to carry around a separate cable. Then they had one that kind of folded around, like you wrap it around it. Now I like the retractable thing. It reminds me of like the old vacuum cleaner when they had the retractable power cables. I don't know if you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. In any case, this is small enough to fit in a bag, even a pocket. But it's got enough power in it to keep you going all day. So it's right. It's nothing fancy. I do love the retractable cable, like I said, but it will keep you going, and it is currently $42.
I'm looking at the pictures, and this is deceiving. It shows the battery pack sitting on the back of a phone, but I can't find anything about MagSafe on it.
It's not MagSafe.
Okay. I have the Anker Nano. I think it's 500 milliamp hours. That's the MagSafe. And flips into stand. Yeah. It is. Love it.
that isn't. Yeah, that's the one my wife borrowed from me that I want back. So that's why she's getting this one. Yes, that is the MagSafe one is really nice as well. So you can look at that. Honestly, just Anker has a battery pack for everyone. So just take a look. They have battery packs that have Apple Watch chargers in it. So they have everything. So definitely go check them out. They'll have something for you. And that's it for our Christmas gift guides, and that's the last of my Christmas gift ideas. I hope you all get something you like under the tree, and you give something you like to everyone. Of course, Christmas isn't just about the stuff. Christmas is about the birth of Christ. We give stuff to celebrate and show our joy, but don't let the buying overcome the joy of Christ in Christmas. Just my little PSA. All right, before we move on, we got a couple headlines we want to talk about. But first, I want to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the secrets of technology, including Christopher A., Christopher R., Jacob D., Deborah M., and Brian M. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the secrets of technology and all the shows at StarQuest, and you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. So our first headline comes from Reuters. Apple CEO pushes for changes in U.S. child online safety bill, citing privacy concerns. So there's a bill up before Congress right now, which is similar to some bills that have been already passed in some states, including Texas, that would require app stores to collect age data to verify the age of anyone looking to download apps in their stores. And that means mostly Apple, Google, and there's a few other app stores out there, but mostly Apple and Google these days. There's similar provisions being proposed for social media as well, that they requiring the social media companies to verify the ages of anyone who signs up for an account. And Apple's stance is we don't want to be responsible for collecting and safeguarding all this data about minors. It really should be up to parents to police their children and make sure that they're doing appropriate things. Do we really want to require to that we collect the age age verification information to driver's license and birth certificates for everybody so they can download a weather app? What do you guys think of this?
I don't want Apple having kids' birth certificates or IDs or whatever. I don't want Google having that. Yeah.
And they don't want it. Well, Google
yeah,
it, but Apple doesn't.
Yeah, quite frankly, I don't want anyone having it except the parents. But
yeah, I mean, I like I said, I spent a bit of time looking at this and also going through our experience with my daughter, who's now an adult. One of the things is when we set up her account, we said what her age was, and then there are age restrictions in the App Store. So what the U.S. House bill is trying to do is saying, well, Apple wants to, no, the government is saying Apple would be required to verify the age and not rely upon the parents to put the correct age on the account when they set up the account.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to understand, I mean, like father, I have real concerns about leaks, even though Apple may be one of the most secure systems. There are still breaches. And even if a breach is not necessarily the fault of Apple, we've seen situations where stuff stored in Apple services has gotten out. So that's one of my major concerns about this. And one of the things with what Apple gives parents the power to do is parents can restrict apps all the way until the child turns 18.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was still approving apps when my daughter was 17, even if the app was totally innocuous. Now, what I noticed is that Google does a slightly different philosophy that kind of bothered me because when the child turns 13, it's almost like the child has the ability to say whether parental supervision is still enabled.
Right.
And parents cannot block free apps from being downloaded on their Android devices once they turn 13. If the child decides
to opt for that, yeah.
Right. And children can go change the settings on the maturity. It's not locked down by Google just to the parents. So that part does bother me that Google's not doing that like what Apple does. But at the same time, I don't know if I want Apple or Google collecting birth certificates or passport information for children under 13, or in the case of Australia, I would imagine it means under the age of 16 as well. So I agree. To me, there's a real privacy concern.
And it's not just that they'd be collecting for children. They'd have to collect it for everybody, because they'd have to verify all ages. That's the thing that kind of bugs me.
Couldn't they get around this with doing maybe a credit card verification, $1 verification, paying out a credit card?
Yeah, kids have debit cards now, even at young ages. And not, I don't know that it's sufficient as a substitute for age, to in that sense. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, one thought I had is that, Apple introduced this new digital ID feature to store your passport, and there are some states where you can store your license. And one of the abilities, and I tried to set up my passport and then got the message 10 minutes later. Oh, no, didn't work. And I haven't tried it again. I need to go do that. But one of the things is what it's supposed to do. Huh?
Yeah. I did it. Had got the same message. I ended up calling support, and it went through.
Oh, okay.
So try that next time.
Okay, we'll do. But one of the things is what it's designed to do is eventually be a case where instead of handing over your physical driver's license so the bartender can look at your address, your driver's license number, it is supposed to give the minimum amount of information possible. Maybe someday there could be something like that. But I think there's a lot of privacy concerns in general if government suddenly starts requiring a digital ID system for every single person.
Hear me out, Cloud Chain.
Well, we brought this up when we were talking about the digital ID a few weeks ago. That's exactly what came up was, I think it was Thomas was suggesting we need to get to a point where we have a blockchain ID system, where it's a distributed identification system that's verifiable, can verify your identity, but it's not controlled by any one entity, and it's private. That it's a public private keychain system, and I think that would be the way to go eventually. And if it's going to happen, it has to be these big companies that really push it, because a grassroots version of this is not going to
For
really
once,
work.
I think I agree with Apple, though, lobbying in their, quote, privacy concerns. As ironic as it seems for them to have. I guess Apple's been the more of a champion of privacy than the other big ones. So,
right. They do not want your data. They don't want to be able to be subpoenaed for anyone's data. And that's a real
And they've
big
got themselves
aspect of
into
it.
a few really unpopular cases refusing to do that.
Yeah. The San Bernardino shooter back a few years ago where they refused to, and where they've refused, like where Britain wanted them to install a backdoor in the encryption for iCloud. Like they refused to do it because if it's there, it will be opened. Someone will open it. It's just the most secure door is the one that doesn't exist. All right. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens with that case. Another headline is a little bit inside baseball, but if you're a podcast listener, this is the sort of thing you need to be aware of. The podcast industry. So the headline is podcast industry under siege as AI bots flood airways with thousands of programs. Airways. It's not like it's radio. Come on, Los Angeles Times. Jeez. They talk about it like it's a radio program. They flood the internet. You put it that way. Anyway, the real point is that the rise of AI in podcasting, and there's a couple of different kinds of AI that they talk about. So some of it is people using AI to edit podcasts. So if I say something in a podcast and like I get the line wrong, I say something completely off the wall in that'll get me canceled and I need to replace it. In the past we'd have to, I'd have to re-record or something like that. Now they can clone your voice and they can just create a new version of the sentence that says the right thing. And they just insert it, and now you have an AI version of it. But it's a minor change. It's the sort of thing you intend to say. There's other ones where the podcasts are being written by the host, by the people involved, but they're being voiced by cloned AI versions of their voices, which is now I think we're crossing over into a territory. There was a case that they cite of a particular podcast host who she had surgery and couldn't speak or couldn't speak well. So she would do her podcast in a hoarse, raspy voice. And then the AI would voice her own voice or a cloned version of her voice over it with the same words. Whether that's kosher, I don't know. And then there's the other end of the spectrum where you have podcast networks which are putting out thousands of shows entirely created and voiced by AI. They are just this AI slop. It's the podcast equivalent of the Amazon Kindle shovel store, where we just create lots of crappy material that is worthless, but we flood the airwaves and we can get just enough downloads to make it worth our financial while. What do you guys think of this whole thing? And where do you draw the line?
This is just an expansion of what's already been happening on Instagram Reels, TikTok, and whatnot. The technology has advanced that it's able to do longer format. But for the last year, at least, your TikTok Reels, Facebook Reels, all of those things, they've been a lot of AI generated content and a lot now that if you're not a techie, it's hard to find it, to realize it.
Basically, right now, if you see a video on any of the social networks that looks like a doorbell cam, be immediately suspicious. Because most of the ones I've found that are really egregious are doorbell cams format. For whatever reason, it's like that wide angle works better with like Sora, which is the one everyone's using.
Alligators are not eating people as they go out to get their mail packages. Just
exactly. But this is the equivalent in podcasting, where there's a lot of AI slop going on in podcasting. Tom, what do you think?
Well, I was going to mention that to me, it's somewhat analogous to AI generated music on Spotify and other streaming services.
Oh, yeah.
does it devalue and commoditize podcast in this situation? And I pose this simple scenario. What if each U.S. bishop's AI generated voice could be applied to Father Mike Schmidt's scripts for Bible in a year, so I can hear my local bishop over the course of a year? Would any of us want to hear our local bishop? I don't think Father Joseph wants to, but I mean, is it going to get that crazy where all of a sudden, I mean, the other thing is legal. I think there's in the situation where you have AI hosts reading AI scripts, you run into the risk not just of hallucinations, but potentially it could lead to something like defamation and slander. Because, I mean, who's reviewing what it's going to read, what it's going to output? And you could potentially get into a weird situation where, oh, well, who's really responsible? And obviously the courts are going to find whoever's generating the content, whoever's making money on the content is going to be the one who will be liable.
But the damage
for Tom, to be clear, my thumbs down. I would love my bishop to actually record reading the Bible. I wouldn't mind hearing that. What I would mind hearing is an AI version of my bishop. That's what I don't want to hear. In case any of my parishioners are listening or anything, I don't like an AI bishop.
Right. And frankly,
no Bishop Justin, huh?
Yeah, no. But frankly, I want, Father Mike Schmitz. He's good at what he does. I want to hear his voice. I want to hear his personality.
Father Mike actually put this out a little bit ago that there's been AI versions of him fundraising for various causes, and him reminding people that the only thing that he's fundraising for is his Newman Center. And he's not going to fundraise for anything else. So don't believe it. But that's scary to think about, let's go with the bishop thing. If you get an AI generated bishop appeal for some prince in Africa, I mean.
Right. Now, to be clear, I use AI every day to help produce the podcast. It does a lot of the drudge work, or the donkey work, as a fellow podcaster, Max Sparky, David Sparks likes to say. And I use it to, every Monday, it generates a list of all of the tech headlines of the week. That's what I use for this show, to kind of see what's going on for tech. I use it to do transcripts of every show, so I can summarize and go through, and it helps me generate social media posts and all that sort of stuff. I use AI through all day long, and frankly, if I didn't, I'm not sure we'd have as many shows as we have in the network. It would be impossible to do what we do. That said, I don't want to use AI to create shows. Like, I'm not going to create the content. I'm not going to have it read in my voice. It's just, what's the point of that then? Especially from our standpoint, from a Catholic podcaster standpoint, we, as incarnational, I'm relating to you. That's you, the audience. I have a connection, a para relationship with you. We are connected through this medium, and I want to talk to you, and hopefully you want to hear what I have to say, and not just what some computer generated algorithm thinks when it's doing its very sophisticated version of next word matching. The
example I gave at the beginning of the show, right, of the interaction I had with meeting Victor in real life, right, that wouldn't happen with an AI generated podcast. There wouldn't be that real life reality.
Right.
Well, and I see another legal concern, and this one kind of scares me, is because people work on podcasts for hours a day. I know there's the fundraising campaign right now, and where was I going to go with that? But I mean, where Jimmy talks about podcasts take 15 hours or more a week, or each podcast takes 15 hours. 15
hours of work go into 1 hour on air.
Right. And what if you have people out there snatching the transcript of that and then just regenerating the podcast with completely different voices, or copying our voices and then releasing it. And so all of a sudden, everybody's copying everything. And the revenue, in the cases of for-profit podcast, they lose out on the revenue. Now you have copyright concerns. And now most podcasters don't have the deep pockets for either in time or money to file takedown notices or file copyright lawsuits. That's what I see. Because, I mean, there's content on YouTube, for instance, where it's repetitive. You have Disney upload something like a trailer, and then there are 10 other versions of that trailer that others upload trying to get
the views.
So you're saying that yeah.
And so I'm worried about that with this, is that you'll suddenly have podcasts being copied and released in misleading RSS feeds that would be the same content, but with AI generated voices.
Something folks need to be aware of too is the AI generated fake trailers, sometimes for real movies, sometimes for fake movies. I was online looking up stuff about the new movie Wake Up Dead Man, the Knives Out movie from Rian Johnson, and I found a trailer and movie poster and synopsis for it on Facebook that was totally not the movie. Like, it was billionaire tech billionaire so and so. Like, that has nothing to do with this movie. If you've seen it, it's totally not about European tech billionaires. It's wild. But I keep seeing like they put up like movie posters or trailers for movies that aren't coming out, but people might want, and so they'll watch it. Like, oh, is there really going to be a new Star Wars movie about Luke Skywalker? Oh, that's gonna be so awesome! And people get all excited and they share it with their friends, and it's just another way of scamming people for fake engagement. We need to be much more discerning. It's unfortunately, we have to do this. I wish speaking of all the big tech companies, I wish they would do a better job of policing themselves for this nonsense content. Every week I post the video for Secrets of Doctor Who on YouTube, and every week I get a copyright notice for our theme music, which we purchased a license for. And every week I send them the exact same notice that we have a license for it with a link to the license. So they could do that every week, but they can't take down all of the glurge crap of fake trailers and all the other nonsense. And it's so frustrating that they're not policing the right stuff. So as far as this goes with the podcast, folks, just be aware. They have 400,000 subscribers to this podcast network of all fake AI generated podcasts. There's 400,000 people, falling for this. And I just think it's bad for all of us. It's bad for podcasters. It's bad for the people who listen to it to subscribe to this. It's like subscribing to, I don't know, was it the old late night TV, what was it when they're selling stuff online, the old,
infomercials,
Ronco stuff. Thank you. Infomercials. It's like subscribing to infomercials. Like, don't do it, folks. Don't do it.
Yeah, I think my last concern was that to me, there's a bit of an uncanny valley aspect of this as well. Is if somebody's writing new content and then using an AI generated voice for somebody who's deceased, either deceased podcaster, radio talk show host, and generating new episodes. That's concerning. I mean,
we've talked about that before. There was a story about them doing that with a particular host and generating revenue for their family. That made it tricky.
Now, back to Star Wars, didn't they do that with some of character stuff after filming, or did they just have that content already filmed?
Did they? Rogue One, they used CGI for Princess Leia, and
they CGI'd her face over her daughter. And I think they pieced together dialogue from previously recorded dialogue.
Yeah, Last Jedi used clips from Force Awakens.
So not quite to that level, but if those would have been filmed a few years later, it very well could have been in that realm.
I'm sure Hollywood is preparing to do just that very thing.
Well, and it was grounds for a lot of the SAG strike that happened, in 2024? Yeah. Was around concerns about that. And of course, the Justine Bateman has been the actress who's been most prominent about concerns about AI.
Yep. So I don't want to go on too long on this. I mean, we're a little bit over time as it is, and I want to respect folks' time. So, and we will definitely be coming back to this. We've talked about this a lot recently. We'll be talking about it more. We could just do AI related headlines every week. It's what's in the news. So we'll be talking more about this. So for now, that's it from us. We would love to know what you thought of any part of our discussion, whether it's the headlines or anything in our gift guides. You can let us know by sending us an email to technology@sqpn.com. Visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/discord. You'll find links from our discussion and our Christmas gift guide items on our show notes at starquest.fm/TEC326. And you can find previous episodes at sqpn.com/technology. You can follow us, Secrets of Tech, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, in your favorite podcast app, or on YouTube at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where you should subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of new episodes. And finally, write a review of the show in Apple Podcasts or wherever you can write reviews of podcasts, and share the show with friends. That would be a wonderful and free Christmas gift to someone, is to share Secrets of Technology with them. It'd be a gift for me anyway. So until next time, Tom Grelinger, thank you for joining me and sharing the Secrets of Technology.
Thank you, Dom.
Father Josephson, thank you as well.
Thank you, and everyone have a Merry Christmas.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Technology on StarQuest, and Merry Christmas. Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy. Let's Science. Find the show wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/science.